All right, welcome once again, and it's still Crossfire with Dakwani Shoma. It's Momentum Monday, and we have more stories to bring along your way. Now, we're talking about the trial of Treasury looters that the president talked about that is beginning soon. But before we go into that story proper, let's take this call from David. David, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, please.
Good morning.
Yes. Talking about the Saudi Arabia, well, going to Saudi Arabia, people dying there, I don't think it should.
Can you speak a little louder, please, David?
Yes, I don't think it should be placed on the government anyway.
Okay.
Yes, because these people going to Saudi Arabia, I don't think it's the government who is sending them down there. It's their personal choice. The government might be sponsoring them maybe on a kind of issue or something, but this one going to Saudi and saying people are dying, they are now placing it on the government. I don't think so, because this should be the business of the government in Saudi Arabia, not the Nigerian government. Anyway, their people, they should show sympathy, but now it's their own.
Hello, David.
Hello, David. Are you still there?
Okay, thank you for your contributions.
Okay. Trial of the Treasury looters begins soon, and so President Buhari also expressed gratitude to the Chinese president for the country's assistance to Nigeria in curbing crude oil theft. Now, this is something that has been going on for quite a while, and countries, including the United States of America, it has been established at a point in time that the probably encourage oil theft into so many countries, especially talk about the activities around the Lake Chad Basin and so many other countries, that are very Republic of Benin, Chad, Cameroon, Niger Republic, and so many other, of all that, including other countries in the Asian countries. And now the point is, what exactly has the president or the government of the day put in place? I know that the president has been meeting presidents of so many other countries, telling them, see, you have to help us in this fight. Don't allow, crude oil, thieves to come into your country anymore. Let's strengthen the border lines and border security. Let our immigration officers, connive, maybe not connive, work together in fighting a common enemy. And that is whatsoever harm is done to Nigeria, we eventually spread even to, even to other countries of the world. Now, the point is that the president is taking a position. We have a list or a group of people who have been perpetrating this evil over time, and then they will be brought back to book. What's your side to this story?
It should be told. Okay, well, we're told also that the federal government had plans to use drones and other technologies in manning, the pipes to make sure that the issue or the angle of crude oil theft is being curtailed. And also, even the Navy, they've been trying so hard to patrol around, but still with all of these efforts, we're still having the occurrences of crude oil theft. So I think that means there's something probably which the Nigerian government is not looking at. Could it be that some of these individuals who are supposed to be manning, some of this, infrastructures are probably the ones behind the crude oil theft? Could that be one of the issues or the angles which the government hasn't focused or noticed yet also? And while this is particular, while we're looking at this issue also, the trial of Treasury looters also, the federal government of Nigeria came out and told us that, look, as regards this issue, we will also begin to refine locally our own petroleum product. We are still waiting for our petroleum refineries to begin to work to maximum capacity as we were told. So some of these issues and some of these angles are the areas where some of these individuals, they look the treasury of the nation. While it's beautiful that they already have a list, a delegated list of individuals or companies who will be importing fuel for, we have a call. Let's take this.
All right, Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Engineer Dakwa. Good morning, Barrister Shoma.
Thanks for calling. Good to have you on the show again.
Yes, thank you so much. There is every reason why the old communist Russia in those days placed the kind of ban on religious activities.
Okay.
Religion has a personal element attached to it. I'm a Christian, for instance. If it is an injunction that I pay the pilgrimage to Jerusalem once in my lifetime to guarantee qualification to heaven, it is strictly my own exercise. If I'm a Muslim, If it is an injunction that I pay a visit once in my lifetime to the holy city of Mecca, it is strictly my own concern. If I'm a Buddhist, if I'm a Hindu, there is the promise of Nirvana, which is the ultimate, which is equivalent to paradise, for instance. So these things are personal elements. You reap the benefit. If, for instance, I'm qualified to go to Jerusalem and then I lost my life there, I cannot share the advantage with any person. Hello?
Yeah,
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I cannot share the advantage with any person. So the issue of compensation of those who possibly lost their life in that sad accident in Mecca should not come into being at all. Instead, it should encourage the Saudi authority to put measures in place to guarantee pilgrim safety in subsequent pilgrimage. So it is a lesson. And then, back home, as for the kickoff of the corruption crusade, Professor Sesage has before this time identified low-hanging fruit. That is, cases of visible evidence of corruption staring out at the face. Let the drum, so let the fire continue so that Nigeria should be a better place at the end of the day. That is my take this morning. That was simply.
All right, thank you very much, Alex, for your contribution. Now, that's a very good one. Still on the first story. Anyway, investigation is still ongoing on the Stampede in Mecca, and we believe very strongly that as soon as there's a report, I mean how is he addressed now? They call him Prince Mohammed bin Nayef. He's who chairs the Hajj, the Saudi Hajj committee, has instructed that, this report should be out in good time. Let's take this call from Sadiq, calling from Kano. Sadiq, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Great, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir. I'm very happy the way you are deliberating on the topic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Islam has been defined as a system of life. It's a total way of life. So people dying in Hajj, the Quran have to speak for himself. The Quran have make a provision for them. So the Saudi government are to pay something known as diya to the family members. That diya is enough to take care for the family members and those that are injured. So it's not the matter of which government to take part, is let the diya to be paid to the family members. This is from the Islamically point of view, with the sort of knowledge I have about Islam.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sadiq. That really poured a lot of cold water on the argument. Which government, should be responsible? Should Nigerian government or Saudi Arabian government? But that's really very interesting to know that there is provision, if it's a law or it is provided in Al-Quran, to establish the fact that when people die there, they have to be taken care of, with diya. All right, good to know that. Now, we're talking about the trial of the Treasury looters, which begins soon. Now, the point is just that I think the Nigerian government, put some things first when those things are supposed to be last, and then some things that are supposed to be last, they put it first. I would have expected that as soon as we are beginning to get to know the people who have been stealing Nigerian oil, those information will be in the public domain. True. For instance, if you capture someone who is a major Nigerian thief who has been stolen who have been stealing, or part of people who have stolen our national, inheritance, like the oil in Nigeria, that these people ought to be brought to the public domain. I know they will be prosecuted and we will meet them eventually. But as soon, for instance, if a thief or a set of armed robbers who probably operates along the express, the moment that police capture them, they bring them on a national television. We see their faces. Why is government hiding the faces of oil thieves? If you have caught many of them, or many of them are already in the government net, why are we not reading about them? Why can't you bring them on the national television as soon as they are being caught, like other criminals? For instance, police, across all the states will display the faces of people, even if they have not done a thorough investigation. They bring them live, on a live coverage of national television.
Legally, do you know that legally that is wrong? Because these are accused individuals. They have not been proven guilty yet. So you brandishing their names and their image, making it seem like they're criminals, it's wrong, because you need the court to, first of all, determine but based on all the facts, if they are really guilty. So you doing that, I mean, that's wrong.
No, but many of them, I mean, the report they will say is that they have spoken with them, they claim to have participated in a robbery attack, they claim to have to be responsible for so many other attacks, and so they
we are Nigerians. We have seen where some of our security agencies beat a rat and make it admit that it's a rabbit. Most of the time, some of these informations are derived under duress. They tell them, if you do not admit you did this, we'll shoot you, we'll do that. So some of these individuals lay claim to some certain facts which are not true because they're trying to save their own head. So I think on the issue of bringing out the names of these oil thieves, I think it's too early. Let the proper trial be done. Okay. Let them be convicted. Then Nigerians can know who they are.
I mean, I disagree as usual. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right, thanks for calling. Let's take your contribution.
Okay, I just like what you people are doing there, but the one you said that they should, the Nigerian government should take responsibility is what I'm not really happy about.
Okay.
If we begin to take responsibility for everything, that means now they will say there's no money in the Treasury again. So I would like the government of Nigeria to reduce the number of people that travel out to that place. It is bad. What are they going there to do? Can't they pray in their house? Let the government reduce the number of people that go out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MM. I mean, that's a very sharp one coming from MM, from Calabar. But it's a religious obligation, for some religion, and it's free will. Just like I have a right to choose my religion, if tomorrow I'm not satisfied, I can pick another one.
Same way you have the right to travel to some of our religious sites to perform your religious obligation. The government shouldn't put a ban. I mean, that will amount to taking away your fundamental human rights, which I don't think any of us will want this current administration to be part of. So.
Anyway, I think that this story is still going to trend by the time the investigation is complete, and then they come to find out, okay, if it is actually something that is avoidable or it was something that is not avoidable. One thing I know about, this, going to Mecca or to Saudi Arabia every year is that people die every year. People die every year.
Yes.
I had an aunt that we almost lost. In fact, the first report we got was that she was dead. Later on, we got another information to say that, okay, she came around and she made it back to Nigeria, even though she's finally gone now. But the truth is that this thing happened every year. This stampede happened every year, and it is expected that the Saudi government really and truly would have done either improved, especially. It still does not change the fact that I want Nigerian government to be responsible, to take part of this responsibility. They are our people, we sent them. Even though it's a willing thing, if government of Nigeria had said nobody is going, nobody would have gone.
And you think you won't have blasted this government on national TV?
Why? Why would I have?
Are you serious?
Don't forget that a couple of states said that they would not sponsor.
Yes, but individuals still went from those states on their own free will. They still paid money for themselves. So are you saying now that the government of Nigeria should be responsible for individuals like that who spent out of their own free will? But anyway, Sadiq Scholar has already put it finally, has laid this issue to rest finally.
Anyway, Dia will be given by the government of Saudi Arabia, and I think that is just going to suffice. In my favor anyway, I think that's maybe eventually will suffice for that. Now, we actually want to at this point in time, this story. I think we should just conclude on it so that we can talk about of trial. I am still of the opinion that a thief is a thief. Whether it's a big thief or a small thief, whether he has stolen something big or something small. So if we have people who have been stealing our national, inheritance, like I said, our crude oil have been stolen over the years, and we know people, or we have an idea of the people who have been doing this. I believe that government ought to have told Nigeria, oh, Mr. So person have been caught, just like we do for other criminals. It is just not fair. And that brings me to another story that I quickly want us to discuss. Now, there's a human side to this, our next story, and that was the release of, the former federal, General Secretary, the Secretary to the federal government, Chief Olufalaye. Now, It was, I mean, information reaching us was that this man was kidnapped, on his way to his farm or around his farm, and it was in the kidnappers' net for about 4 days. Now, on the third day, the president came out really very strong to issue a statement saying he's given Solomon Arase, the Inspector General of Police, that I need you to fish out Chief Falaye immediately. And information that we got was that, I mean, the Nigerian police went en masse into, this particular area, and they combed the entire area, and within a very short time, Chief Falaye was released. Now, we don't have an information. Interview granted by the Inspector General of Police, the journalists were asking specific questions. Was any ransom paid? He said he doesn't want to comment about that. Now, were kidnappers, are these kidnappers in the police net? He didn't make any very clear statement about it. I really don't know why information about this kidnap should be treated, in another way. We had the wife of the editor of the Sun newspaper who was captured. Every information was given about, progress report, how they were doing, if they paid the ransom, how much they were asking for. The same thing happened to Chief Falaye, and I don't see any reason. Does that mean some citizens have to be treated, in a different way? Why some other, citizens of Nigeria? We're talking about kidnappers here. If you kidnap somebody that is very close to me, it's a personal trauma. I understand the position and the role and the responsibility that Chief Falaye has played in Nigeria as an individual. But that still does not underestimate the fact that we still have so many other families who are going through the same thing. We have kidnapping, happening almost every now and then to people in this country. But an instruction was given, and they went en masse to go and deliver.
You know why this story is dicey for me? Because while the police, they are so claiming responsibility for his release, that they were able to secure his release and reunite him back with his family. There's another side to the story, that he was found in the bush.
That he trekked a long distance and all of that.
He was abandoned in the bush. So the issue now.
No, but if you read the story of the Inspector General of Police, you will find out that police played a major role.
Yeah, because we're looking at area support, as talking about helicopters and all of that, surveillance cameras, surveillance also to make sure that he was released. But let's look at it from another angle. We have foreigners who come to Nigeria and do business in Nigeria. Whenever they are kidnapped of something of this nature, they're always released. The security agencies go on top of the game and ensure that they're released and they're protected. Politicians, bigwigs, political bigwigs, are found within this same scenario, and they're always protected and released. The issue is, what happens to the common man? What happens to you and I out there who do not have any sort of affiliation with either of those two groups I just mentioned? That means they will be left to fend for themselves on their own, because they do not know Mr. President to give us a directive that they should be released. I think this is unfair to the Nigerian people. I believe that the same way Mr. A is treated, I believe that's the same way Mr. B, Mr. C should be treated, because we are all equal people in Nigeria. Kidnapping has become imminent in the southern part of the country and even in the eastern part of the country. While we're talking about Boko Haram in the northern part of the country, why is it that some certain individuals are well protected and well, favored than others? And look, while we're talking on radio today now, do you know, it's funny now that Nigerians have lost complete faith in the Nigerian police force. In fact, people feel more secured with their local vigilante groups than with members of the Nigerian police force. How is that?
Now information reaching us.
Level?
A couple of times, the police come out really very strong. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a classical example, and this police man, maybe I should just not mention his name now, and he came out strong and he said, "Don't pay kidnappers ransom."
Wow.
Don't pay them ransom. And then you keep wondering if the position is that, okay, we don't want to pay kidnappers, and we have our family members who have been adopted and maltreated. Chief Falaye said he slept on a bare ground for 4 days. That's an old man. That's an old man. And so I really don't know exactly how we should treat a classical, case of kidnapping. Okay, families are being communicated to, and they said, okay, provide this ransom. Do you know a family source to the to Chief Olufalaye said they actually paid ransom?
Well, we are yet to verify it.
No, but I read that report, and it said that they actually paid ransom. And meanwhile, I mean, the Nigerian police are making us feel that, I mean, no ransom was paid. Anyway, let's go on a short break. We'll still be touching on this story about kidnapping in Nigeria. And then when we come back, we'll try and wrap up on that story. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. And we've been on a story that is proving that kidnapping has become a commercial activity in Nigeria. And now we'll quickly take you through one report, and then we know exactly what the position on the release of Chief Olufalaye truly is. There's no grain of truth in the impression created by the police that the former Minister of Finance and chieftain of the Afenifere, Chief Olufalaye, was released by his abductors without paying ransom. A family member of the elder statesman said, contrary to the claim by the police authorities, ransom was paid before Chief Falaye was eventually released. The family source also berated the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, of claiming the glory for Falaye's release, saying the police boss just came to Ondo for jamboree because police did not have any input in Baba's release. The police didn't do nothing. And if this report is anything to go by, because I was wondering why the Inspector General of Police hesitated. Instead of having to say, all right, this is the amount that was claimed, but don't worry, we guarantee that we'll catch up with these guys and we will bring them to book. Instead of trying to make it look like, based on the President's instruction, that the Inspector General of Police should do everything to ensure that Chief Olufalaye was fished out.
Would you want him to admit to the fact that ransom was paid, if truly ransom was paid? Would you want the Inspector General of Police, of the Nigerian Police Force, to admit, to make it seem like he's incompetent? Do you think he doesn't value his job?
I believe that he should admit that a ransom was paid.
Oh, no, come on.
Why will he not want to agree to that?
In Nigeria.
Do you? Okay, now let me ask you if somebody you know very closely is being abducted, God forbid, by kidnappers, and they're asking for a ransom for his release, because this time around it's a commercial kidnapping. Now, and you have reported this matter to the police, and you cannot see any effort in the search for this particular individual. You think family won't sit down to probably either negotiate with the kidnappers and eventually release their person?
And at the end of the day, this all shows how porous security is in the country. It shows how porous Nigeria is as a nation. It does. It does.
Anyway, you know, my concern really and truly is that, I mean, looking at this thing from a security point of view, in recent times, we have a lot of cases of police brutality. In recent times, innocent Nigerians, the
Maybe
people they are meant to be protecting.
I have to state my own experience on Saturday just to tell you how frustrated I am with members of the Nigerian police force. But let me just keep my own experience aside, because this is not about me. Now let's look at it from another angle.
You know, in Rivers State,
how can we handle this issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm even looking at now. In Rivers State, I mean, a woman was killed over the weekend, and a 3-year-old woman was killed. And another place in the southeast, a mother of 4 was killed, you know, by another police officer. Now, I know that Mr. Arase has been saying that police brutality is going to be properly addressed, and, you know, blood-liking, you know, police officers will definitely be, excommunicated or probably dealt with in the Nigerian police.
I need to understand how they will do that, because, look, we have a lot of illegal security checkpoints. All they do is collect money from people. If they see that this person looks educated and we cannot probably collect money from this person, they will frustrate you. They will ask for God knows what that doesn't exist. And even when you probably have it and you show it to them, they'll tell you, okay, so you think you're very smart, you're very intelligent, you want to teach me my job. Before you know, they put one stupid case on your head, and the next thing, they're malhandling you. It's either they're going physical on you, or they're taking you to a so-called police station which doesn't exist. So I need to understand how Mr. Solomon Arase would fish out these individuals, trigger-happy, drunk police officers on duty who do not even look like a policeman. We have them everywhere in Nigeria. But what are they doing really to fish these individuals out? Is there probably a toll-free number or a website or anything that people can, you know, report these incidents to, and it will be dealt with immediately. Because most of the time when people try to even report these individuals, it's either the DPO or one individual in the police force is covering up and say, oh no, these are not my people, or no, we do not know who they are. Whereas these are people serving within the Nigerian, the police force. So I need to understand how he's going to fish this issue. How is he going to deal with this issue? It's not by coming out to the pages of the paper and saying, oh, we're going to handle this issue. What exactly is he doing? Are we seeing a reduction in this? No.
Now, anyway, we intend, don't forget that we've been working very, very hard to make sure that we have Mr. Solomon Arase in our studio anytime, any moment from now to just come and ask and help throw light on some national issues as it borders around police activities. We have police brutality. It's still very, it's still happening. We have indiscriminate killing. We still have bribing and corruption in the Nigerian police, and all of that. Now, the big question, Ishoma, will be, what exactly is wrong with the Nigerian police force? What exactly? We have treated on this show that the Nigerian police force is underfunded. We have treated on this show that Nigeria is under-policed, and all of that. And then we want to really know how far we can go introducing local government police, state government police, and then federal police, officers to still occupy their position. Maybe all this problem will be a thing of the past.
Let me drop this joke.
Yeah.
While I was still in secondary school, then I was listening to one of the interviews of late Chief Gani Fawemi, and he was interviewed and he was asked on this issue. I think that was in 2007 when they were talking about increasing their pay thereabout. And he said that, look, no matter what it is you do to change the Nigerian police force, nothing will happen. Why? And his reasons were that, late Chief Obafemi Awolowo cursed the Nigerian police force because of how...
That was on a lighter note.
But even though we understand how, what some of the activities which members of the Nigerian police force played back then, and all of that. But of course, probably that was on a lighter note. But the truth is...
I mean, but it makes a lot of sense. Somebody said, okay, how come they changed from the regular khaki that we grew up meeting the police and they changed it to a black uniform? How exactly, and when something is black, what do you expect from it? That's another... But don't forget, it's on this note that we're going to say a bye-bye, for today's on Crossfire. And we'll be back tomorrow with another very interesting episode of Crossfire. Do join us and stay out of trouble. And always remember, police is your friend.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.